So Washington, there's a lot of changes going on, especially with the zoning laws, new bills that are being passed to kind of create more middle housing is what they're calling it. The bill that passed and that we're talking about is HB 1110, the middle housing bill essentially. If you live in Seattle, the East Side, or basically anywhere in King County, this bill would impact your land value, your home value. What we're missing in Seattle is middle housing. Majority of Seattle is zoned single family. So you're getting, a large area that's having, 1 unit per lot. Whereas in like Manhattan or Boston, parts of New York, you have on each lot, there are multiple units there, right? So you're able to fit more people in a smaller area. Seattle is the other way around. We have more single families, so it's all spread out. So that's why housing prices are where they are, because there's not enough housing to go around. So with this bill, the goal essentially is to create more middle housing. The thing with Seattle is it's such a tight area. We're in the middle. There's no more area left to build in. So the only places you're allowed to build in, or essentially can build in, is areas where there are already homes. So the only option you have left to do is to demolish the house and build in its place. So with this bill, you're able to build multiple units on that one single family zone lot. So for example, instead of one house on 5,000 square feet in like Seattle or Kirkland or Redmond, you can fit 3 or 4 smaller units on that lot. This is why when you look on the market right now, you're seeing a basic house, let's say 800 to 1,200 square feet, essentially what would be considered a starter home 5-10 years ago, is going for 800,000 plus, reaching into the millions, because it's sitting on a lot that's very favorable for this zoning. It's the land value. Developers and buyers are paying for the potential of what can be built there. So like a lot as small as like 4,000 square feet. So let's say you have an 8,000 square foot lot, you have your house on it, and it's positioned in a way where you can subdivide the lot, or it's called a unit lot subdivision, where you essentially condoize the single family zoned area to then house another unit in the back, as long as it has the parameters, right? The setbacks and the proper access. You can then build another unit in the back, or multiple units, depending on what your architect decides and what you think is feasible. And I'm not saying like 4,000 square feet you can build 1 unit. I mean, you can build 4 units. It kind of depends on your exit strategy. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to create more housing to rent out, or are you more like developing to build and sell it? Lots that are like 6,000 square feet, I've seen some developers fit 8 units on it, right? Obviously, there's the square footage is smaller. The units end up being smaller, or they're much tighter, but they're having the right square footage. The main thing is essentially just create more housing. Every city in King County has its own guidelines that you have to look up. Talk to the city planning office, talk to your architect, talk to the planning department. With any lot essentially in King County, if you have decent square footage, access, or are located near public transportation, which is another thing you have to look at. But there are certain guidelines, but essentially any lot that you can hook up a sewer to, not on septic, because that's not going to work, has sewer access, you could build multiple units on that lot, even if you have a single family home there already. We need more units. We need more duplexes, more fourplexes, more triplexes, more units on the lot, just to fight the housing. I mean, essentially, if you're buying a house, like say a single family, it's going to cost you $1 million. But if you're able to develop 4 units, then each unit can sell for $600,000. Obviously, bringing the median home price down. The house shape and size that we're used to in Seattle is starting to change. The landscape is starting to change. You're seeing taller homes, more homes on the lot, which we're not used to in Seattle or surrounding areas. In like New York, Boston, those areas where they have just rows of townhouses, they're more used to that. Here, that's a landscape that's changing, and it's going to take some getting used to. So if you're a homeowner and you're getting your phone blown up by a lot of people that are calling, essentially me, I'm calling as well, but a lot of people are calling, for these homeowners, they have a small house on a favorable size lot in King County, or even if it's a decent size lot, you're getting people that are calling because they want to take advantage of this new zoning. Because if the house there right now costs $1 million, I'm able to, file for permits while it's in permitting phase, Airbnb that house out, just so I can get my cost down because of the holding cost. And let's say I can build 6 units now on that property. Once I get all my permits, I bulldoze that property down. Now I can build 6 units, $600,000 to $700,000 a unit, depending on where you're at. In some locations, it can be $1 million a unit, and boom. Now I'm, just got more value out of that piece of land. So if you're a homeowner and you need to get a price evaluation for your lot and you're getting a lot of calls, just shoot me a text. My information's in the description, or shoot me an email. Implementation will vary city to city. Seattle is moving much quicker than every area surrounding it. Cities like Bellevue and Kirkland have their own interpretation of this rule. There's a lot of neighborhoods, they have the HOA, they're trying to contain the presence of that neighborhood. So you might see some pushback in certain areas, but there are homes that have no HOA restrictions. You just have to, it's just you and the city and your architect designing for that specific lot.